In this video, I'm going to talk about how to find your life's purpose. And I think this is an important topic because I feel like everyone wants to have some type of a purpose, a reason to get out of bed, a reason for being. And I think a lot of people are out there working jobs that are unfulfilling and that leads them to just feeling unhappy. And I used to be one of those people when I was working, the odd minimum wage job. Once I had learnt everything in the job, I enjoy learning new things, but once I learnt everything, it was like, now what? I'm just bored. My soul feels unfulfilled. I'm unhappy. I always felt like there was more to me than this. Like I could be doing more than this. And I finally have found my purpose. And it took a bit of work to figure it out. And so I wanted to share that in this video. But I also conducted 6 interviews from 6 of my followers for this video. I got them onto a video call and we had a bit of a discussion about finding purpose. And so I'm going to be incorporating a lot of what they said into this video. And I'm going to, somewhere on the screen, link their Instagram account. So if you wanted to give them a follow or check out their content, check them out on Instagram. And I also want to give a shout out to 2 gentlemen that I also interviewed that don't have an Instagram account to link to. And that was Brendan and Cam. So shout out to those guys. Now, firstly, I want to look at what is purpose? Because purpose can come in a lot of different ways. And after speaking to some of these people, I realized there was a really great point that was made, and that was there is more than one purpose in life. And you can have different purposes at different stages in life. So I want to talk about the different types of purposes first, and then we'll talk about what you can do to find your purpose. So one of the lovely ladies I interviewed mentioned having an inner and an outer purpose. And I thought that's a really great way to look at it, right? So the inner purpose is getting to know yourself, going within, getting to know yourself, getting to know, who you are as a person, learning your lessons, healing yourself, healing your wounds and your traumas, and kind of expanding your consciousness. And I realized that is one of the purposes why we are here on earth. It's for learning lessons so that our soul can grow and evolve. So that is really one of our purposes. It's going within, getting to know ourselves, and also healing our wounds. And then the outer purpose is the purpose you're doing in the outer environment. It could be working a job, that's your purpose, or it could be raising children. So raising children, being a parent, that is a purpose, right? It may not be a job where you're earning money, but a purpose doesn't have to be related to earning money. And so, some people are parents and their purpose is to raise kids to become amazing human beings. I feel like a lot of parents that, especially mothers, but maybe even single fathers, that raise their children, and that's their purpose, and then the children get to a certain age where they leave the nest and the parents are no longer needed. And then the parent feels a bit lost because, I'm not really needed anymore, I don't really have that purpose anymore. And then they're sort of feeling lost in their life, having to figure out where to go or what to do with their life. And so that's why it can be different purposes at different stages. You may have a purpose of raising children, and then when that's over, you may be off finding another purpose. And then there's what I call income purpose. So this is just where you've figured out your purpose in life that you can do that earns you money. And so I figured that out for myself because I realized when I was working these minimum wage jobs, I just was never happy or fulfilled. And I just always knew that there was more to me than this. Ever since I was a kid, I've always had, inside, I've always had this feeling of I need to do something with my life, not just waste it away in a boring job. I always had this itch to actually do something with my life that's meaningful before I leave this planet, but I had no idea what it was. And I have finally figured it out, so I'm working towards it. That's why I have a YouTube channel. I'm working towards creating an income purpose, so my purpose being an online creator that creates videos and content that will help people, and then providing coaching or digital products so people can work with me so that I can help people become happier and healthier. And so that, I feel like that's my purpose, especially after having my spiritual awakening to what reality is really about. I felt like I need to be doing something with this, like I've had this awakening. I can't just pretend I don't know these things. And so that set me on this path of being able to serve others and help people. Your purpose does not have to be related to an income. It can be if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be. But in the age of social media, that has opened up so many doors for us now to be able to go online and turn our passion into an income. So I encourage you, if there is something out there that you're passionate about, to be open-minded that you could actually take it online and create an income from that. Another purpose, just to give examples, another purpose can just be spreading positivity in a negative world. It may not earn you money, but you're still helping people and helping the planet by doing that. And that is also what I like to do through my content. I realize there's a lot of darkness in the world, and I felt like I had the awakening for a reason. And so I realized we need to be spreading some love and light. And so that can be someone's purpose, is just being that person that's spreading love and light in a negative world. And another purpose can just be helping people, just helping your fellow humans. So there's different types of purposes. There's, different things you can do. There can be different purposes at different stages in life. For example, I realized when I was conducting these interviews, I realized there was a purpose I served many years ago where basically, long story short, I had friends that had a child, and I ended up helping out with that child quite a lot, especially in the early age of between the ages of 2 and 4, while his parents were split up, and I was kind of the flatmate that was there to kind of help out a bit with him. And I realized looking back, that was my purpose at that point in time, was to help look after this kid. He's now grown up. He's 16, and he's like my nephew, he sees me as his auntie. So it's really cool. That was a little purpose at one point in my life that's led me to have this great relationship with this person. And I realized for myself that, there are more than one purposes at different stages. So being aware of that can just help you realize that you don't have to have one purpose set in stone and that's it. You know what I mean? There's more to you than that. Now, we're going to look at how to find purpose. Some of the suggestions I got from these people that I did the interviews with were just things like start dreaming again, going within, spending time alone, sitting in silence, and asking yourself deep questions. What do you love? What excites you? What do you get lost in? What are you passionate about? Get to know yourself, right? Because what excites you, what you're passionate about, is linked to your purpose. So when you spend that time figuring out what you really love to do, that's the first step. And then realizing that because of social media, like I said, it's opened doors for us to be able to take our passion, turning it into this online business. Another suggestion was getting out of the comfort zone, doing the scary things, taking some action. Because if you don't get out of the comfort zone, you don't grow. And sometimes people, may be a little scared to step out, but it's really important to get out of the comfort zone. It's important to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is where it leads you to amazing things. People have a fear of the unknown, but it's in the unknown is where the magic happens. So have the courage to step out of your safe little box, try some new things, do some scary things, turn up to events, even if you have no friends to go with, just go by yourself. You can start connecting with people, networking, and eventually, as you take this action, you will figure it out on what you really like doing and what you're good at doing and what you can turn into a purpose or an income. Now, another point I wanted to make was reflecting back on my own life. I realized I had an injury back when I was 19, where basically I broke my back, but I didn't find out until I was 25 because no doctor would listen to me about my back pain. I was the one that demanded to have x-rays done, and that's what found the problem. They're like, oh, you need a spinal fusion surgery. So I had to go and get the spinal fusion surgery, which basically put me out of work because, I get back pain really easily. And I've been on disability for like the last 10 years. I have worked the odd job in that time, but I've mostly been on disability. And I've realized now that I'm on this journey of building an online business, becoming a coach, helping people, become happier and healthier, my injury, my spinal fusion surgery, put me on the path that led me to my purpose. So the point is that your illnesses or struggles, things like that are going on in your life, can lead you to your purpose. Another example of this is like if you had a drug addict that, what's the word? Like a recovering drug addict. So, they got rid of their drug addiction, they overcame it, they're sober, and they are now able to help other drug addicts become sober and, get over their drug addictions. So that's like their purpose that was caused by their own drug addiction. So your illnesses and struggles and things like that going on in your life can lead you to the path, or put you on the path that will lead you to your purpose. And like I said, that's what happened for me. And at the time of dealing with all my back surgery stuff, I didn't see it back then. I sort of was like, what am I supposed to do with my life? I'm so young, and now I get back pain like a little old lady. And at that point in time, it was depressing. But as time goes on, things just happen that lead you onto the right path, and you can look back and see how everything served you and led you to that point. So keep that in mind as well. Now I'm going to share a really cool, useful tool that can help you finding purpose in life. And it's a Japanese practice called the Ikigai. And I'll post a picture of the Ikigai here so you can see what it is. You can Google this and go into Google Images. And so basically the Ikigai is the sweet spot in the middle, and you have the 4 questions around the outside. It's, what do you love? What are you good at? What can you be paid for? And what the world needs. And the answer to all 4 of those questions is the Ikigai, the sweet spot in the middle. And so you can use this tool as a way to figure out what your purpose is. And before I was pursuing this online business, I was actually pursuing a baking business. I'm a really good baker. I'm really good at cake decorating. I'm mostly self-taught. Like I have this natural ability to be able to make amazing cakes. And I was, working towards creating that as my business. And then I had the realization that because of my back, I wouldn't be able to produce enough baking every single week that would allow me to earn a full-time paycheck. I was like, because I get back pain easily. I was like, okay, this isn't going to work out. So I had to pull the pin, and I re-looked at the Ikigai, and when it got to the part on the Ikigai where it's like, what the world needs, I thought about it, and I was like, well, the world doesn't exactly need sugary food that is unhealthy, but what the world does need is healing. And that's what helped me figure out that this was the path for me. You know, providing a service that's going to help people is way more important and needed in the world than providing sweet food that can give you diabetes, you know. So that's why I recommend using the Ikigai. I think it's a great practice. And before I end this video, one of the lovely ladies I interviewed had a really great suggestion. And her suggestion was to find purpose in the jobs you don't like. I thought, wow, that's a really great perspective, because a lot of people are in jobs they really don't like. And of course, when everything comes down to mindset, right? So if you're in a job you don't like, you're going to have a bit of a negative mindset about your job. Like, oh, I have to go to work. Don't really want to, you know. And when she said, like, you know, finding purpose in the job will change your attitude and change your perspective. So then you'll be more positive about going to your job. And I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, because I worked a job. I worked at Carl's Jr. I hate working in fast food. I only applied for a fast food job because I was desperate for a job. I was desperate for an income, basically to get out of an abusive relationship. And so I applied for any job. You know, I was like, I don't care if it's fast food, I need the income. I got a job at Carl's Jr. And so, yeah, I absolutely hate working in fast food, but I do actually like working with food. Like I say, I've got a natural ability when it comes to baking and making food and things like that. So while I was in this job that I didn't like, I realized like I did kind of find a little bit of a purpose in it by being a really good burger maker. I was always on the burger line making burgers. I was like, you know, at the time, I was like the best person in the kitchen. I was really quick at making burgers. But I also was just really good, as in like, I think some people can make like stingy burgers. And I think, why are you being stingy? Because it's not coming out of your pocket. And so for me, I was just like, no, I'm making a good burger so these people can get their money's worth. So I always made sure they got these mean-ass burgers. So it was like me finding the purpose in the job of being the best burger maker so these people can get their money's worth. So I think that's a really great suggestion, that if you're in a job that you just don't like, that's going to cause you to have like a negative attitude about it, to try and find a purpose in that job so you can have more of a positive attitude and enjoy going to your job more. So I hope you liked this video and you got value out of it. And if you did, let me know by hitting the like button or write a comment. If you like this sort of content, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification. Also, just want to give one more shout out to the 6 people that I interviewed for this video. Feel free to follow their Instagram accounts if you want to check out their content. Have an awesome day. Peace.